Hello, hello. It's Gabriel Nekashea here. I am the King of Orion, and I finished my meal. Both in terms of rocks and in terms of food. So I get to live for another day. But real quick, I mentioned can mining yesterday and kind of gave a brief breakdown of how to do it, how to most efficiently and effectively move rocks. Because I like to pick things up and put things down. So here's kind of like where we're at. I've got two cargo containers out in space. I'm orbiting one at the moment. Let me give a quick look. There you are. I want to start moving these goods into a station. And I don't want to expose anything that I can part with. So there's a bit of a prioritization puzzle in this. At the very low tiers, it's very easy to decide which rocks you want, because there's only two varieties in these Tech 1s. There's Scordite and there's Veldspar. In other low tier, there's Plagioclase, which provides Tritanium, Pyrite, and Mexilon, sugar, spice, and then everything nice. That's generally what you want to aim for in the higher tiers. But since I'm just grinding and looking for base materials, I actually want to move the Veldspar first, because it's the most resource dense. Now, the Scordite is worth the most. Most folks want Scordite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the Scordite for the next guy. If someone comes in and they find that, more power to them. They get more money, but I get more resources. This is a fair exchange, in my opinion. And hopefully, if they look and see what they've got, they know, oh, this guy doesn't want the Scordite. I can mine this, and they'll leave the Veldspar alone. There's a bit of a signaling thing going on here too. Not that anybody's going to come across this, because it's open season on compressed spaces. Nobody's touching them. But I'm going to take the Veldspar. I'm going to go ahead and hit that. Boop, loot. Uh-oh, I can't carry them all. Alright, so let's see how much I can get. It looks like I have filled my space and must come back for more. That's okay. I'm going to go into the secure mine wormhole. Secure mining. And then from there, I'm just going to activate my micro warp drive to save time on the transport, and then haul these rocks to where they belong. And I'm just going to go back and forth like that a couple of times. I figure it's about a half minute for each way. So I'm going to hit the button, let that cook, move some gear around in here, organize a bit more, and then repeat. And that way I can minimize the amount of interaction time with the game while maximizing what I'm doing dirt side out in real life, without losing the resources that I spent the morning where I could more actively play, gathering them. So by combining passive and active intent and attention, I can gain a lot more than I would have had I just done active attention or just done passive attention. This is the nature of logistics and efficiency. It's figuring out what is best for the specific task at hand and then performing that. In the Air Force, we would call it max performing the aircraft to some extent, because there are operational limits set by the design of individual aircraft. Those determine how close to the red zone or the danger, this could break you, you're able to go over the long haul. You can pull 7-8 Gs in a fighter craft for a very brief period of time, and you can go up to about 13 or 14 before it'll potentially kill you with certain maneuvers. Mainly it's blood flow. Losing blackouts and redouts are the fundamental human limit. But you don't want to do that over the long haul. One, it will kill you, whether it's damage to your spine or damage to your aircraft. Neither are good over the long haul. And just to give a demo, I'm just going to type in, I've given my command, warp to the station that's nearest to where I'm gathering these goods in Senda. And this was a week ago, time traveler, I'm doing these operations one maneuver at a time to just kind of demo, hey, here is how I use multiple different ships to achieve the same sort of effects that one Rorqual can do. And I'm just gonna dump the rocks into. Here's the rocks in my hold. I'm just gonna move them puppies. Boop. Move you into my inventory, and that plus these rocks is how much I've gathered from the first room of that Tech 1, and like how much I got from that one haul. That's about 4 million ISK total, but I'm not in it for the ISK. I am in it for the reprocessing. And that's going to get me about 2 million trit just from the Veldspar. And then up to 3 million trit and 185,000 pyrite from the two of them, which ain't great, but for the amount of risk involved, it's pretty good. Especially since I just need to do that like 5-ish times per cook on bullets, small bullets. There are better rocks out there for moving things along, but they're harder to reach. And as I pull more full holds full and feed them into the machine, like, it's a lot easier to move these goods in high sec and low sec. I can use the regional delivery system, for example, to instantaneously move them to any ITC, and I can sell them from there. And like, it costs 26,000-ish, but if that's just the cost to sell it, and like the money coming in is about 4 million-ish just for the rocks, not counting like the processed materials or how that, will flip, I'll pay that for instant cash, relatively instant cash. Then I don't have to invest in a transport. I don't have to invest in a mammoth or anything like that. I already have, just because, I've been playing since the game started. But I don't have to. Like, anybody can enter industry. It's relatively expensive to be poor, but it's not nearly as expensive as folks make it out to be. Never let fear of doing too little keep you from doing anything at all. Anyway, enjoy can mining. It's nice and chill. There's nobody is coming to kill you, as far as we're aware. Have a good day.